Thanks for joining me. This is Guest of the Week. My name is Jane Madwagna. My guest on this edition of the program is a social entrepreneur and a public affairs analyst. A look at his educational background shows that for his primary and secondary education, he attended Queen's Model School here in Enugu to obtain both his first school leaving certificate and his West Africa School certificate. From there, my guest also attended Enugu State University of Science and Technology to obtain his first degree, and he majored in microbiology. My guest also holds a diploma with the United Nations Institute for Training and Research, UNETA. Who is he? You'll be meeting him right after this timeout. Stay with me. Welcome back. Time to meet my guest. May I introduce to you Mr. Chukwuma Ephraim Okenwa. Welcome to Guest of the Week.
Thank you so much. Pleasure.
All right, people call you CEO due to your initials. Once again, I welcome you. Now you are into so many things, and today we're going to be looking at what you're doing to impact the society with the various positions that you've held and you're still holding in the society. Let me start with you being a TV host to enjoy mathematics. Now, I know growing up, there's this fear surrounding mathematics. Once you hear maths, everybody is like, where do I go from here? I don't even want to be in class. But really, what have you done to demystify all the issues surrounding mathematics?
You know, first is mathematics as a discipline was formerly studied under philosophy. And one of the major principles in philosophy is what we call the principle of relativism. What that means is, there is no way you can explain what 2 means to anybody without applying it to something. So just imagine, how would we have ever defined 2 to a child without saying this is 1 and this is 2? Otherwise, you can't use any other means. But unfortunately, we discovered over time that in the teaching of mathematics, we leave it like to be abstract to the learners. So one of the things we've done, like in reinventing the study of mathematics, is transforming the learning of mathematics from something that is abstract to something that is concrete, using everyday life experiences. And sometimes also, we can just tell children, like for instance, that pi is 22/7, and the learner is wondering, are mathematicians magicians? How did they arrive at this number? But when you tell the person that if for whatever situation where you have a perfect circle,
yes,
and you measure the distance around it, which is the circumference, and compare that with the distance across it from one part to the other, which is the diameter, the ratio of the circumference, or the circumference over the diameter, gives you, of course, the pi. And with that, learners can begin to relate it that, practically every circular object, it could be a tin of milk in my house, all spells mathematics to me.
Now, I also read in your CV that you're the brain behind One Nigeria reality project. What is this all about? And what can you need for young?
It's a project we came up in association with the U.S. Department of State. Yes, I hold a kind of a recognition as a Yali Network Influencer, Young African Leaders Initiative in Nigeria, when appointed to WISE. So we came up with the initiative like as a way to, mainstream young persons, as the drivers of peace and national cohesion. In our dear nation with lots of diversity, I don't think we've really done enough, to see our diversity, to see our differences as a case study for unity, and rather not for division. So what we basically did, like through the platform, reached out to young Nigerians, professionals, to begin to change the conversation, around unity, around tourism potentials, even economy, and a steaming dialogue as a means for promoting peace. So what we did, we put out invitations for application, received over 3,000 applications, and 12 young persons were selected to engage with leaders at the national level, to visit a couple of places in association also with the National Tourism Board. Part of the significant place we visited was the center of Nigeria. A lot of people do not know that different nations have their geographical center where all of the coordinates terminate. So where you are there, you just know that your distance from there to every border of Nigeria is same. And that's, of course, on the Katambe Hill, We climbed the hill to show the delegates from the 12 from the 6 geopolitical zones, that geographical center of Nigeria, and it was really interesting.
Okay, and at the end of it all, what's the impact really?
The impact was because, of course, we had like training sections, you understand? We renowned Nigerians that are making impact in different spaces. Part of them was Hamza Lawa. Hamza Lawa is in charge of Follow the Money, an accountability project, that ensures that when monies are released for different projects, but at the local government level, state level, this money is tracked to ensure that it achieves the aim. So we had a training section on accountability, and one of Nigeria also that is a part of the World Economic Forum, and Mr. Kingsley Bangwo was also there to teach young persons how they can begin to think, look at themselves as captains of industries, how they can begin to build small businesses. So at the end of the day, they were deployed to go back to their geopolitical zones, send the good news of unity through national cohesion.
All right. Now for project lead of ADA 042 Tourism and Cultural Pageant, I also read that you had a thing to do with it. What is it all about and what have you been able to do?
Yes, over the time, like pageantry in Nigeria has been all about show of beauty and in some cases show of fashion, which are not bad in themselves. But then we thought to ourselves, who is showing, who is demonstrating our rich cultural heritage, who is showcasing the tourism potential, of our city, of our nation. And what we then did basically was to use that platform to, encourage people to begin to look at the tourism potentials of some jewels embedded in some villages that are, in fact, we don't even know about it. Interestingly, locations such as that account for visits from tourists looking for places to see. I mean, people like sometimes get bored, maybe from daily work routines and all the rest of it. So when you have your holiday, you are looking for a country to travel. And one of the things I've looked at, like research reviews, right? Of course, in every state in Nigeria, there's no state that is short of like 7 significant tourist centers that have the capacity of generating for that particular state. If we take Enugu State, for instance, there is more of waterfall which looks like so amazing. I never knew of it until like just about a year ago, and that's part of the place we took those that were involved in that pageant. We want to see where people can begin to like leave their countries to come see this amazing place, because it's really amazing. And there are a lot of lots of hills, waterfalls, some amazing landscape that people can actually travel out in their numbers to come and see. Even the mountain alone makes a very good case for mountaineers.
All right. In the area of culture, what did they learn? What was the take home for them?
The take home will one be a situation where people can see that it's really fashionable to be you. I mean, your dialects, we encourage them, and maybe if you are presenting, in fact, they are the auditioning phase and even to the final phase, your qualification would be to communicate in your local dialect, tell us how certain things, culture, maybe how do someone get to contract marriages in your area, you understand? And we expect you to express yourself in your local dialect.
Good. Now, you are also an SME enthusiast. What areas are you involved in?
Ranging from training, we train entrepreneurs, and of course we have contacts with several industries. Those industry captains are usually part of our training. Like the last one we concluded, we had someone into automobile. He does it big in Enugu, and he volunteers to train 170 young people, 10 from each local government. So that's amazing. So what we do, we train, we do the talk, and we walk the talk, by ensuring that we connect with captain of industries. It could also be like an ICT, agriculture. So we work with these and then provide the training and train them to be apprenticed. That's number one. 2, also have represented some multinationals in digital entrepreneurship. And we have a foundation that cuts across Africa, also looks on us to mentor young persons within their learning system. And that we've sustainably done over the years.
All right. And you hope to continue with this?
Yeah, sure. I always feel excited to see young Nigerians leveraging opportunities.
And all this you do is free?
Yeah, sure.
To the young people?
Yeah, sure.
That's really good. Now, as Executive Director of Lead Network, what have you done?
Basically, Lead Network is a foundation, and of course it's an acronym for Leadership entrepreneurship, advocacy. And what we believe in, it's very simple. If you can build young persons for leadership, these leadership values, I'm not talking about politics, I'm talking about leadership values, and also train them to be entrepreneurs, to have financial muscles. They could have a voice to advocate. So it's like a whole package in one for young Nigerians. Over time, people begin to wonder, why is Nigeria, that is made up of the population, you understand, 65% of the population is young persons. So how come we are not seeing young persons play active in all of the space, whether it be in the social space, economic space, political space? It just looks like young persons are seeking for relevance, looking for someone to give them a space. So we thought to ourselves and said, okay, let's begin to get young persons engaged in conversations around leadership. Where our fathers have missed it, we want to get it right. And all those values of leadership. And then beyond that, how can we begin to train them a little bit different from what they have in schools? Where like you hear from your lecturers, you come out with good grades, you get good job. What if we tell them that if you can serve creditably well and get apprenticed in a business system, and after 3 to 4 years you own your own business and have the capacity of employing others? Interestingly, this is a model that one of the renowned business schools in the globe, and that is Harvard Business School, started understudying for past 10 years. And I'm glad to tell you that the ABABOE model is now a course in the revered Harvard University. So it's one that we need to begin to look within and say, how can we, sustain this model if like the world is already looking at it, which is very unique to people from this part of the world.
You're the principal partner at H Finance Consulting. What does H Finance do?
What we basically do is help businesses to grow, help startups especially. I work a lot with startups. Of course, research shows that over 50% of businesses do not get to see their 5th birthday.
Yes.
So many people, it's not just enough to start business, but the sustainability. So, but then if we have like case studies of businesses that have made some mistakes, some of the things, pitfalls you need to avoid in business, and you introduce that to like startups, they have greater chances, of succeeding, of society, not making the same mistake, rather than attempting to reinvent the wheel. Let me make all of the mistakes. Sometimes when we speak of entrepreneurship as risk-taking, many young persons are, glad to take the risk, but certain risk might leave you with no business to apply the lessons.
You are still watching Guest of the Week this beautiful day. My guest is still in the house talking about Mr. Chukwuma Ephraim Okenwa. We'll be back. Stay with me. Welcome back. All right, Mr. Okenwa. You are also the founder of CEO Media Regency. CEO Media Regency, what are you into and what are you doing for young people?
Yeah, we're into media services, but beyond that, we've used that platform as an opportunity to mentor young persons that want to go into the media. Part of what we do is also organize entrepreneurship boot camps. What's the need of entrepreneurship boot camps globally? It is to immerse people into whatever passion they have. Interestingly, many young persons set out goals at the beginning of the year. So this year I want to learn how to handle the camera. This year I want to learn website design. This year, and they keep procrastinating. So in a boot camp, what we do is engage those professionals that will give them the basic rudiments and also follow them up thereafter. Sometimes boot camps can last between three days to 1 week, right? Acquire, and of course we've not always failed to remind young persons that every youth with a skill is empowered to employ others. So go get a skill, of course.
Now, for the skills you give them at the boot camp or elsewhere in all the areas you have mentioned, be it SME and things, how do you monitor them? How do you follow up to ensure that, they still maintain focus?
Of course, what we've done successfully over the years is to build an ecosystem where young persons can connect. For every young person under our mentorship, we have platforms where they connect. Like when we are done usually with some trainings like under employability and entrepreneurship, we create platforms. We have EES Farmers platform, We have those for the digital entrepreneurs and citizens.
Yes.
We have those for those that want to go into real estate. And then some mentorships are provided. And interestingly, when opportunities come in some of those areas, we do not fail to relate it and ensure that the best qualified amongst them.
When they have gone through learning a particular trade, it really depends, whatever it is, at their startup packs. Some of them, when they are done with the training sessions, they will need little boost to propel them to really start up something.
What we do, the truth of the matter, and of course that's where the government comes in. Of course there's an SME center. We have a relationship with the center. We also have a relationship with the state government. But beyond that, globally, in the best interest of businesses, the first support a business gets is through bootstrapping. What does bootstrapping means? From your savings, from family and friends. Interestingly, the problem is young people wait for the money to come before learning a skill. The truth is, for instance, if you're learning how to sew, to make wares, by the time you are done with learning under your trainer, maybe you stay 2 years and you are now professional. Before you think of setting out your shop, probably the money is not there. You don't even have money for the machine. At that point, if you are to stay longer, which in most cases, if you are good and are served creditably, whoever trained you would want you now to just come in, not just as an apprentice, but as somebody helping to bring value. So you now sew. The only difference is that rather than paying you for 5,000, which is what they value, the company can take 2,000 and pay you 3,000 for as long as you stay there. So if you make 3,000 sustainably, you can from there get a sewing machine, which ranges from 35,000 to 50,000, at least the basic one, the head of the machine. Once you have the skill on its own is a capital. But at the end of the day, entrepreneurship is all about adding value. And once you've added value to yourself, you can begin to add value. And then people can now give you money in exchange for the values.
Yes,
you understand?
you can do it.
Yes.
Okay. You've been appointed twice as yearly network influencer in Nigeria. What did you do to merit this?
Over time, especially when it has to do with the SDGs, because the program of the U.S. Embassy, right, the yearly network, has 3 major streams. So you talk about the civic part, you talk about the business part, and of course the public policy for those in government, either as civil servants or as politicians, right? So when you come in and measure in one track, and has made lots of impact. But interestingly, I have not just done things in one part, that's the civic part. I was also opportune to just serve in the civic part also, and in the business part, where we begin to we networked with the SME Center to empower business, especially female women entrepreneurs. Because sometimes some women in this part of the world, you want to do a thing, even to set up a business. Some people may discourage you, it's a men's world. We also want to tell them this place also is for everybody. This place, everybody can play big. Certain instances of good case studies of women who have disrupted the entrepreneurial space. So based on things we've done, when also the initiative of One Man, One Tree came, right? I led a group of young persons, to lead that project in the States. And a couple of other things that, because we have a schedule with which the embassy operates. So when you perform well and report, interestingly for an African-wide report in 2018, right? Out of 21 page document for across 54 African countries, my work covered 3 pages.
You're also a fellow of the leadership course in criminal and security intelligence management. This was from the Defense Intelligence College, Abuja. What have you done, and why really did you go for this course?
Honestly,
intelligence.
Yes, when I saw myself attending some courses at either the Defense Intelligence College or maybe at the Nigerian Resource Center, I quickly remembered that when I was done with the university at age 22, the first thing that came to my mind, of course, I've already started the process of a formal position to join the military.
Oh,
the Nigerian Navy.
Interesting that.
Yes, sure. I wanted to join the military. But then it's interesting that as someone that is out there working with, largely with young persons, I still have that opportunity. And like some of these trainings in the cadre of the army, those voted in for such training, Brigadier General upwards. And I look at myself, bloody civilian, attending such training. But then the interesting thing about security is not just assured by the use of arms and all the rest. It also has a psychological dimension to it. As a matter of fact, security is not reactive like we are taught. Maybe you wait for something to happen and then wear them like trying to arrest the situation. It is how do we even get the nation to be safe at the first instance. And what that will mean is, how do we ensure job security, food security, mind security, so that people's mind will not be attacked? How can we win back the heart of young persons to be patriotic, to know that if you want to vandalize a public facility, you are doing that against the whole of the nation, including yourself. So that is the approach, that is the dimension of the conversation of security, which of course, with the insurgency and numerous security challenges in the nation, the nation has certainly been exploring how can all relevant stakeholders, both in the civic space, be part of security, because indeed, security is everybody's business. And I'm glad that every time I have that opportunity to talk to young persons on how they can get to the point, if you see something, you say something, how can you even integrate as part of the security architecture towards ensuring a safe nation? Anytime I get that opportunity, I'm always excited about that.
A lot of young people are out there and they watch what we're doing and saying. A lot of them are trying to chart the course of their life. Some are getting it right, a lot are not. What's your advice? You deal with them one-on-one.
Stanley, in the 21st century, the opportunities and distractions are equal and opposite. That's what I always love every young person to know. And what does that mean? When you have people who are distracting you, when you talk, stay around them, they don't talk about career development, family life development. All they are talking about is where is it happening. I mean, like sometimes I've basically spent almost all my life here. So a few times I had to travel out for a couple of things, either in Abuja, Lagos, or out of the country. But one of the things I discover, like sometimes I discover people who are far younger than me know certain things happening in Enugu that I even get shocked of. And it's all a function of interest. Like somebody say, do you know this is happening? I'm like, do I really stay in this Enugu? So the instructions are there. Same also with online. But guess what? Even in online community, do you know job search now is far, far easier than what it used to be before? When you see a job seeker before, you confirm that from the shoe. You confirm that by standing on Tuesdays and Thursdays, newspaper stand, looking for opportunities. But now, you could just activate your location and search on Google, jobs near me. And you begin to see opportunities around. You could just create your profile on LinkedIn, right? Put everything about you and the courses. And you'll be getting job recommendations in your own community. But unfortunately, young persons will prefer to snap what they are eating, chat endlessly on things that is not really helping them. And I think part of the things every young person must know is the money you look is the time you spend carelessly. So at the moment you begin to see your time as money, as value for you, that moment your life changes. So ask yourself, if I have 168 hours, right, in a week, and I cannot hold 7 hours in 1 week, let's say last week, you can't really say this is the 7 hours I really used to do something valuable. Then of course you are wasting your time carelessly. But interestingly, there are those that with 168 hours, they can boast and say 140 hours of my time, I used it very well, right? Including sleep time. Or some young persons are busy, very busy, but unfortunately doing nothing profitable.
You've heard it all from my guest today. He says, young people, stay away from distractions. What are you doing with your time? Time is money. If you spend your time on things that matter, if you are focused, definitely you will come out better when life. I want to thank my guest, Mr. Chukwuma Ephraim Okenwa, for being here today.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so much for all that you have said.
Thank you.
Next week, I'll still be here with you. My name is Jane Maduaguna. Thanks for watching this edition. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.